Marketing your practice. So we're going to go quickly through this. Why are we talking about this, David?
There are a lot of dentists, and you need to stand out.
Who here has read the economic reports for the past few years? Yeah, Chris is nodding. Is it all doom and gloom? Cue the evil music.
Oh, dun, 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 dun.
All right, so there's too many dentists,
Yeah.
not enough patients, insurance cutbacks, stagnant incomes, increased cost of practicing. Here's what you want. You see that upper right quadrant there? High dental IQ, high dental need. Those are the patients that you want. The problem is that there's somebody else's patients, so you got to convince them to come to you. So how do you do that? Most people say, have a strong rapport, have good clinical skills, and spend more on advertising. Does that make sense? Okay. If you hop online, here's what unhappy patients said. Tell me something. Does this have anything to do with your clinical skills? No.
Nothing clinical.
Happy patients. Here's what they said online. So here's the problem. Lay people have difficulty determining if you are a good dentist unless they're in constant pain, or they've seen another dentist, or they've sued you and a judge determined that something you did was wrong. Okay? But in most cases, they're just going to trust you. You're a dentist, you have a degree. They didn't know that you barely passed your classes, right? They just trust you, okay? So having clinical skills alone, it's not a major factor in attracting and maintaining patients. Okay, what about spending more on advertising? Look, over the past 15 years, advertising expenses grew a whopping 205%. That's in the economic report. But the economic report also noted there's no correlation with spending more and increasing your production. Crazy, right? And so why are dentists doing it? Because they believe that if they stop advertising, that their competitors will scoop up all of their patients. And advertising is getting so expensive that an average general practice is spending upwards of $100,000 on advertising. Crazy, right? So no correlation between spending more on advertising and attracting and keeping those patients. Yeah, we got a question now. Go ahead. That's a good, it depends. It depends on where you are geographically and the type of marketing you do. However, I'll tell you this, the best marketing, the thing that's going to bring you 90% of your patients is all word of mouth, referral network, referral marketing. And we're going to get into that and how to do that. So finally, a solution, okay? When I went to business school, they made us read this book. And the book, written by Michael Porter, basically talked about if you're in a oversaturated, highly competitive industry, the strategy, one of the strategies that you can use is a niche strategy. And it's about being the best in one specific area, and you're able to charge more, you're able to attract the types of patients or customers that you want, and you're able to deliver the best quality of service to them, okay? So how many of you guys have heard of John Allen's Club? Oh, we got one guy in the back. Are you a member?
No, I thought about it.
Okay, tell us about it. What is it? $850 a year for unlimited service. And yeah, you can go every day. If you go once, it's about $85.
My hair does not grow that fast. I'm not going every day.
So it's a very niche thing, right? Male grooming service, high end, very luxurious. And John Allen himself had this quote where he talked about, why he did what he did. He said, before John Allen's, people looked at going to get a haircut like it was a chore or a root canal. And I wanted to take the chore and put it into his lifestyle. You have the gym, you have the relationships, you have business, you have John Allen's. I'm trying to create a new attitude towards this. Make it easy, make it comfortable. What does this have to do with dentistry? Make it easy, make it comfortable, new approach. Interesting. Okay. So what is a brand? This is the solution here. Okay. A brand is that thing that's going to set you apart. It's going to help you survive and thrive in a very fierce industry. A brand is not a logo. If anybody says a brand is a logo, you are clearly mistaken. It's the personification of a product or service. It's that thing in between the end user and the end product. It's the difference between a cup of coffee and a Starbucks, or a car versus a Tesla. How many of you guys have heard about Tesla? 0 to 100 in about 3.1 seconds, using 691 horsepower and instantaneous torque because it is 100% electric, right? Crazy. And it gets about 450 kilometers on a charge. Crazy. Anyways, a brand, the difference between a cell phone and an iPhone. What's the value of a brand? All these things have tremendous value. A brand lets you attract your ideal patients. Lets you charge more because you are the guru in your industry. Lets you spend less time and earn more money so you can do things like go on vacation. By the way, these are actual pictures from Turks, and some of them are from Jamaica. So if you've never been, we're going to talk about that soon, right? A brand. If you're a brand, you're not a commodity. If you're a commodity, just a general practitioner, you're going to get nickeled and dimed to death. How do we develop a brand? Great book here. Who here has read this book, Contagious? Nobody? David, have you read this?
I've read your Cole's notes.
Okay, my Cole's notes. So there's 6 steps, and David is going to go through all of the 6 steps that you need to develop a brand. Are you ready?
I hope the first one is social currency, or I haven't memorized it properly. Yes.
So the idea is, how do you spread your message as a dentist? The experience that you created, how are you going to get your patients to talk to more and more patients, ideal patients, about it so that they come knocking on your door? Number 1, David mentioned social currency. It has to be cool. The experience has to be cool. Your brand has to be cool. Next, David.
I hope it's triggers.
Yes. Connecting 2 or more ideas. We're going to give you guys lots of examples about this, so you don't have to think too hard about this. What's next?
Emotion.
Okay. Fear, lifestyle enhancer, awe. We're taping this for the benefit of our website, so that if you want to review it, you can, and it's all there. Okay, what's next?
Making the private public.
Mm-hmm. And
STPPP. Practical benefits.
most people believe that if you're a dentist and you're good, fast, and affordable, that's your brand. The problem is it's only one of 6 steps to developing a brand. You need much more than that. And the final component of developing a brand, David?
The shareable story.
You have to have a shareable story, something people will talk about. So let's go into some examples. Social currency, the coolness factor. How many of you guys have heard of this place? Please Don't Tell in New York. Okay, can you tell us about it?
Yeah.
So you go into this antique telephone booth, which is in this hot dog place on the bottom right. There's no advertising for this place, Please Don't Tell. And you dial 2, and the back door opens, and you end up in this place, a very lavish New York bar. And they developed this specifically because there was so many bars within a few kilometers of their bar, so they had to make themselves known somehow. Guess how much advertising they do? 0. They don't have to. It's cool. We just talked about it. You would go and check it out, right? Would you go to Barclay Prime in Jersey and have a $100 Philly cheesesteak sandwich? Comes with a bottle of champagne. It's got caramelized onions, American Wagyu. It's got foie gras. How many of you guys would actually eat this? No, but it's cool, right? And you talk about it. I'm waiting for the $100 burrito. Yeah, I would check it out. Okay, triggers. John Allen's. We're back to John Allen's. So I mean, you look at your nails, and all of a sudden you're thinking John Allen's. Haircut, John Allen's. You go for a beer, John Allen's. Why? Because they did that on purpose. They're combining massages and mani-pedis and haircuts to get you to think about coming to John Allen's. Cheerios in the morning. Now, Cheerios is very smart. Who came up with the idea that this is a breakfast, that we should wake up and eat this healthy meal for breakfast? They did. They did it on purpose, right? So when you wake up and you want a healthy breakfast, you think Cheerios. What about Kit Kat? Kit Kat reinvented its brand, and now they're kind of triggering coffee with Kit Kat, right? It's worked really well for them. Emotion. Okay, when we talked about lifestyle enhancement, your brand has to improve your lifestyle. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. I mean, how do rims on a car add any practical benefit to your day? How does a $600 or a $1,000 wallet help you out? It may not, right? But it's emotion, the lifestyle enhancement, it works. So Westin Hotels. Who here has been to a Westin Hotel? What does it smell like? I've been to a Westin Hotel. I was having a crummy day, and I walked in, and I was just inhaled, and my day just became immaculate because I was inhaling the white tea or fragrance that they were pumping purposefully into the air. Okay, now think of the dental practices that you go to, and what's your first impression when you walk in? The smell, right? And what does this dental practice smell like? Old carpet, fluoride. I don't know, does composite have a smell? So think about this. Smell is the #1 trigger of memories. Okay? So you can actually deliberately do something with that in the practice that you're at. What is the emotion that Groupon is using? It's fear. Fear of?
Missing out on the deal.
Yeah, fear of missing out. When you drive this car, as opposed to a K car, it should make you feel awesome. Like your life is so much better. You're a better version of yourself because you own this, you have this. And going back to dentistry, it's like what David was saying. You know, the first thing you put on in the morning is your smile. How important is that smile? It's going to improve your life. It's going to get you that job that you've always wanted. It's going to get you that significant other that you've always dreamed about. It's so important, such an important investment, and it's going to improve your life. So language becomes very important when you're trying to convey your brand, right? Emotion, Dos Equis. What's this guy all about? The most interesting man in the world. If you drink that beer, you become like him. You get to wrestle bears and lions and hang out with beautiful women, right? How many of you guys have seen Jean-Claude Van Damme in this commercial? A lot of nods, okay? Emotion, it's crazy, right? You think that he's going to die doing these splits while these two giant Volvo trucks are going backwards. But he doesn't, miraculously. He's still around. Making the private public. Now, as you can see, how many of you guys have heard of insanity before? Okay, what's insanity all about? Yeah.
It's like a kind of P90X kind of thing.
Okay, so when you finish this crazy 60-day workout in your basement, what do you do next? You post your picture and you get what's this guy wearing? T-shirt. You've taken a private act of working out in your basement and you've made it public by declaring to everyone that you did this. Someone's going to see that T-shirt. When you, apparently, if you grow a mustache during the month of November, that now means something. It's a private act, and now it's gone public. And so people are going to ask, well, it's about raising awareness for men's health issues, right? Wearing a band means something. Or walking out of a Louis Vuitton store. I mean, now everybody knows where you're shopping. Again, private acts that have gone public. Practical benefits. What are the practical benefits of sleeping in that bed? Looks comfy. Looks better than what they used to look like, right? And hotels, about a decade ago, really reinvested in their linens and the pillows and their comfort. They're using Egyptian 600-count cotton. They want sleep numbers. They were competing with each other because the idea was if you sleep in this bed, the practical benefit is you will be fully rested when you wake up, right? Well, they got a picture of David up there. How did that happen? Okay. Practical benefits. We talked about insanity, and this is Sean T, the guy who's yelling at you during those hour-long workouts. The benefit is you need no equipment to do this. You're just doing it in your basement, and all you need is a TV and a DVD player, right? So practical benefits. What's the practical benefit that McDonald's offers? You guys should know this one. It is fast food. It's cheap. It's everywhere. Stories, the final component of the brand. How many of you guys know about Jared's story? How many of you guys don't know who Jared is? Okay, David's going to explain who Jared is. David?
Jared is a guy who at the time was overweight, and he only ate certain subs from Subway for breakfast and lunch every day, and combined that with a lot of walking, lost something like 200 pounds, made millions from his story for Subway, and Subway made millions on that advertising campaign.
Yeah, he made something like $15 million over the course of working with Subway, and Subway was able to triple their revenues. Pretty crazy, right? Because his story was very far-reaching. How many of you guys have seen that YouTube video online, Dove Evolution? Yeah? What's it all about? They show this woman before, and they make her into the after, and it's about showing what people go through to modify images, and Dove, of all companies, did it to tell young girls, you don't have to do this, it's all about inner beauty, and they started this campaign. Again, all these videos have spread virally, and so it's a story. Steve Jobs, I mean, when he was around, how many of you guys know why the plugs on the back of all the laptops are magnetic? Do you guys know that story? No? Steve Jobs saw a Japanese rice cooker with a magnetic power supply, and he thought, what a genius idea, because if someone's walking along, they're going to trip on that cord, they're going to yank it, you've got all this hot water and rice being thrown everywhere, and he said, you know what, let's do that with computers, with laptops. So stories. So, the final, now you know how to build a brand, right? With all those 6 steps. The next part is spreading the brand. So David's going to explain what this book, Tipping Point, is all about.
Essentially, there's 3 types of people in the world. You've got your connectors, you've got your mavens, and you've got your salespeople. The connectors are the ones that know everyone. They know everyone in the industry. They know the people around them. The mavens are the ones that know the deals, the inside stories. They also spread the information around. And the salespeople are the ones that can connect that to the end user.
So you need to be able to identify your practice, not only your staff, but your patients. Who here falls within one of these 3 categories? Who's going to take my experience, this experience I built up, this brand, who's going to spread it to like-minded patients to draw them in? And so you look at people who are well-connected. In my family, this is my family, it's my father-in-law. He's well-connected. Everyone is 6 degrees of separation away from my father-in-law. Mavens, that's my mother. She comes at me with a new deal every time I see her. Here's the latest thing that's on sale. Sometimes I think she works for Costco. And salespeople are people who are able to use confidence and charm to convince you of something you otherwise wouldn't be convinced of. And also make sure to find some good-looking people and make sure they're part of your team. So you can deliberately, strategically create a brand and put it in the hands of those who will spread it for you. Okay? So marketing summary, niche it, brand it, spread it. Make sure to take a look at all those books.